Teapot, but they only have 14 contestants. Today's what if is going to be, what if Teapot only had 14 contestants? In other words, what if it was a reverse split? In a way. So, what 14 contestants will be in 2's new show? I believe the 14 contestants will be Pin, Bell, Golf Ball, Tennis Ball, Gatey, Coiny, Pen, Robot Flower, Basketball, Blocky, Eraser, Pillow, and Woody. And yes, if you're wondering, the teams will be 2 teams of 7. So, now they need to form the teams. I like how most of these contestants can be broken up into pairs. We have Pin and Coiny, Golf Ball and Tennis Ball, the Bros, and Basketball and Robot Flower. Now, those pairs need to form a team, and I guess the remaining 4 will just choose who they want to join. It is at this point, 2 has realized he has counted the votes wrong, and that there still needs to be 1 more contestant added to his show. So who is it going to be? I feel like 2 will go with the second placer, because in BFB, they probably let Winner join, so I guess Price Tag is going to join the cast now. Welcome, Price Tag. Anyways, let's discuss these new pairings. I feel like Golf Ball and Tennis Ball would join Basketball and Robot Flower. It just seems like the most highly likely thing. I feel like the Bros would join Pin and Coiny. I don't really have any good reason for that. I just feel like that would be more likely. So, who will the rest of them join? We'll figure that out now. And these 2 pairs seem to be the teams. Now they need to name their teams, and we need to get a proper layout. So, let me do that now. Now I will discuss how these teams have formed their name. It's very clear that Golf Ball's team name will obviously still be an accident. Coiny would then propose Wobunch for his team name, and Gatey's on Are You OK, so they wouldn't oppose it. So I guess the name would go through and Wobunch would be picked. Conveniently enough, both team names are opposite colors of each other, so the colors contrast really well. Anyways, let's see what the first contest is. The first challenge is obviously to climb to the top of the hotel. The first team to do so is safe, and the team that doesn't will be put up for elimination. So, which team will do it? First of all, I feel like Belle would try to climb up to the top, probably bringing Woody, I'd assume. I mean, Woody would probably have fears of doing that, but I feel like Woody could do it, meaning that Belle and Woody are at the top. The rest would probably try to get up the normal way, but I feel like they would just take the stairs. Because, well, if you're wondering why they wouldn't take the elevator, I feel like Blocky would sabotage the elevator. Just seems like a Blocky thing to do. But before he did it, I feel like they would also have 2 members at the top. Probably Price Tag and Pillow, which means the Bros and Coiny and Pin still have to make it up to the top. So, the real question is which team is faster? I feel like the Bros could probably do something decent. So, at the end of the day, I feel like Wobunch would win the challenge and Are You OK is up for elimination. And yes, this is vote to save. Let's run down this first elimination. Since it's vote to save, the results may be differently than if it were vote to eliminate. First safe is Golf Ball, Tennis Ball, Robot Flower, and Basketball. Who will escape the bottom 3? I feel like it will be Woody. I feel like Woody would have enough relevance to escape the bottom 2. The bottom 2 is Belle and Gatey. Will Gatey get eliminated already? I don't think so. Gatey would be safe because of the connection with 2, and Belle would be the first boot of Teapot. Now, the second contest is to stack a block tower. The team with the best or longest block stack will be safe, and the other team will be up for elimination. So, let's get started. Are You OK would probably have the most structurally stable tower of blocks because Golf Ball and Tennis Ball would probably nerd out over it. I do feel like Gatey would be with 2 for the majority of the challenge. It just seems like a Gatey thing to do. And then I feel like Basketball will try to get Robot Flower to get certain things, but then it would kind of malfunction, causing them to have a side thing. Woody would stay with Are You OK to defend the tower. On Wobunch, I feel like Coiny and Pen would probably do good at building the tower, and I feel like Price Tag would also do some good stuff. Pillow and Blocky would probably go off and try to sabotage Are You OK's tower. Would it work? I feel like it would be structurally stable enough to not go down, and I feel like eventually Robot Flower would end up knocking down some of Wobunch's tower, making Wobunch go up for elimination. For this elimination, it's going to be a little more tough to kind of predict. First safe is Coiny, Pin, Pillow, and Price Tag. The bros are the bottom 3. I feel like Blocky would have enough relevance in episode 2 that he would get out of the bottom 2. The bottom 2 is Eraser and Pen. I'm not sure which is more boring. I feel like Pen is less boring, so I'll go with that, and Pen is safe and Eraser is eliminated. Episode 3's challenge is to make the best attraction or theme park ride. The team with the best ride will be safe and the team with the worst ride will be up for elimination. 2 will be ranking them 1 to 10. So, let's see what they do. Are You Okay would probably do the same thing. A roller coaster. There's gonna probably be parallels to the last episode. So Gatey's with 2 for a little bit. Less than last episode, but still noticeable. And Robot Flower's still gonna be having some issues. So basketball's probably gonna have to deal with that. But it wouldn't take most of the episode. So Golf Ball and Tennis Ball will leave Woody in charge of thinking up the roller coaster. This would prove to be a bad idea. I'll explain that later. And to Woe Bunch, they're gonna do mediocre at best. None of these people are really here for inventing, so I don't know, they might create a decent ride, probably like a restaurant or something. I'm not sure exactly what they do in this timeline, but it'd be something not too good. Okay, back with Are You Okay? The fact that Woody is the one with the thinking cap would prove to be a bad idea, because Woody would think of something really scary, so the roller coaster is probably going to be as dangerous in our timeline, or as in our timeline. 2 finally gets to judge them. He does Woe Bunch first. Not too good. 4 out of 10. Goes on to Are You Okay, hoping that there's something better. This time, there is no death prevention, so 2 gets injured, and probably gives it a 0 or 1 out of 10, meaning Are You Okay is up for elimination. This elimination would be very straightforward. Safe is Golf Ball, Tennis Ball, Basketball, and Robot Flower. The bottom 2 is Woody and Gatey. Woody's really only in the bottom 2 because he couldn't control how his mind worked, but that's also something Woody can't control because it's Woody's character. So I feel like Woody would get sympathy and be the last one safe, meaning Gatey is eliminated. This would impact 2, but not as much as it would in our timeline. The next challenge is to protect your funny plant. The team who has their funny plant die first will be up for elimination. So, how will these teams do? Are You Okay would be very cautious with their plant. Golf Ball and Tennis Ball would be the main people giving the ideas and showing people how to protect their funny plant. I don't think we're going to change biomes. Let's just assume that the funny plants are in Goik, where Teapot is located. So I do feel like Are You Okay could keep their funny plant alive for a while. What about Woban? Pin knows a lot about plants, and Coiny would help Pin out, but there's 2 major pranksters on the team, Blocky and Pillow, and I feel like one of them would do a prank that they don't think would actually harm the plant, which would actually harm the plant. So I feel like Are You Okay would survive long enough for Woe Bunch to mess up, and Woe Bunch will be up for elimination. This elimination is probably going to be very simple. Safe is Coiny, Pin, Price Tag, and Pen. The bottom 2 is Blocky and Pillow. They both probably, messed up their team last episode, but I feel like Blocky would be eliminated, and Pillow is the last one safe. Why do I think this? I feel like Pillow's a bit more of a funny menace than Blocky is. The next challenge will be to get the plate. The first team to retrieve a plate and give it back to 2 will be safe, and the other team will be up for elimination. So, which team is better at getting plate? Are You Okay has a major disadvantage due to nobody really having actual arms besides Woody. I guess Robot Flower technically has arms, but they wouldn't necessarily work the same as the other objects show arms. However, on Woe Bunch, almost all of them has arms, except for Price Tag. So they'd have an advantage due to having arms, or more arms than Are You Okay. I do feel like there would have to be a back-to-back elimination at some point. I'm gonna say that Woe Bunch would probably be up for elimination. Why do I say this? I feel like Are You Okay would probably find a better way to get the plate, because Golf Ball and Tennis Ball could get an invention to go underwater. That's why I feel like Are You Okay is safe, and Woe Bunch will have an elimination for the second time in a row. This elimination is going to change simply because, BFB is still ongoing. So there's no Foreign X's kitchen thing. I think there would be a cake. 2 would probably bake a cake, but I don't know what the cake would be, so I guess there's no cake for this cake at stake. Anyways, let's get on to who's safe. Safe is Coiny, Pin, and Price Tag. The bottom two is Pen and Pillow. Pillow was more tame last episode, while Pen, I don't think Pen has done too much. It's probably still sad that his bros are eliminated. So, I think Pen is eliminated, and Pillow is the last one safe. Not sure how much Pillow can keep going at this rate. This is going to be the last team's challenge. That's right, the merge will be happening next episode. So, what's the challenge? The challenge is to bake the best thing, or just get food to 2. The team with the best dish or food will be safe, and the other team will be up for elimination. Let's see how they do. Pin and Coiny would probably get some really good recipes trying to get cooked up. They'd probably come to something with plants, because that's Pin's expertise. Then, I feel like Price Tag would help out, and then Pillow would sabotage the team, because she knows she'd get eliminated if she did that. On Are You Okay? Woody would be too afraid to do anything. Robot Flower probably couldn't cook. And the rest of them are armed. I do feel like golf ball, tennis ball, and basketball would whip up something. And now it's time for judging. First, with Are You Okay? Since they have more members, so their food should be better. 2 tastes it, and it's pretty mid. 4 out of 10. On Roll Bunch, they have a good plant-based meal. 2 likes the gimmick and gives it an 8 out of 10, meaning that Are You Okay is going to be up for elimination. Today's quote-unquote cake is going to be a folder. I guess 2 just found a random folder around. Anyways, safe are golf ball, tennis ball, and basketball. The bottom 2 is Woody and a robot flower. This is a hard elimination to do because this is a way different timeline. Robot Flower really hasn't done anything too much this season, and Woody did try to help out on multiple occasions. I feel like that would give Woody the benefit of the doubt, and Robot Flower is eliminated. 2 would now decide, now that there's only 8 contestants left, to hit the merge, since they're pretty much halfway through. Anyways, what happens after Robot Flower's elimination? I feel like Robot Flower would get angry and probably destroy 2, monuments or something, just so we can have the same challenge go on. So, how will this merge immunity phase work? So, there's 2 things that are broken. The 2 people to fix them will be safe, and they get to pick a third. The first one that's safe will get to pick the last third person to be safe, and the rest will be up for elimination. So, who will be the ones fixing? I feel like Price Tag would probably go around and trade. Woody would probably try to do something, but I feel like Woody would be too afraid to do much, but he would still try. Coiny and Pin would probably work together to try to fix something. So would golf ball and tennis ball. I guess basketball would be on her own, but I'm not sure how useful she'd be. I do feel like Coiny and Pin would be, the ones to fix something, but 2 would come over, and only one of them would really be safe, because there's only one of them could potentially fix this due to the way the immunity system works. Coiny would insist that Pin gets immunity. Holy moly, I did not know how to say pin there. I got it the first time. I don't know what I'm doing. So, Pin wins the first immunity. The second immunity would either go to golf ball or tennis ball. Honestly, I see it going to tennis ball. And Coiny gets to pick the last Pin gets to pick the last person to get immunity, and Pin would of course pick Coiny, meaning the rest are up for elimination. This elimination's prize is glue. Anyways, let's get on with the elimination. Safe is Price Tag, golf ball, and pillow. The bottom 2 is basketball and Woody. Woody has done major stuff this season, as he would have in BFB. However, basketball is losing relevance, which means that I think basketball would be eliminated here. Let's see how far Woody can get. Today's challenge is to go on the balance beam. The 2 people who go on the balance beam the longest, they get to be immune. And I guess they get to pick one person to be immune with them, and the rest will be up for elimination. Let's see how everybody does in this challenge. So they're obviously all going to try their best to not get up for elimination. But at the end of the day, I feel like either Coiny or Pin, one of them would probably get off. I'm going to have to say Pin. So Pin would be the first one off, unfortunately. But not too long after that, I feel like Pillow would probably do something devious to tennis ball, given that tennis ball is probably the easiest one to fool. So Pin and tennis ball are the first 2 disqualified from the challenge. This leaves only 5 people left. So I don't feel like Woody would win the challenge, so Woody would be obviously up for elimination, unless someone saves him later. Out of the rest, I feel like Coiny would fall, probably, due to Pillow's action. So, which one will not win immunity? I have a feeling that golf ball will be the last one to not win immunity, which means the 2 people who automatically win immunity are Pillow and Price Tag. But they collectively have to choose someone to win immunity. I feel like after a little bit of talking, they'd probably both decide they want someone good out of the game, so they'd probably give the last immunity to Woody. So, who will be eliminated in this high-stakes elimination? Alright, this elimination is going to be controversial no matter who gets out, but I'll try my best. First safe is Golf Ball and Tennis Ball. The bottom two is Coiny and Pin. These two characters will probably become more boring over time, and it's really about who's more boring. So I'm gonna have to give the slight edge. The last person safe is Coiny, just barely, and Pin ends up getting eliminated. We have officially reached the final 6. Anyways, the challenge is probably still gonna be the Outbreak, but let's be honest here. 4 would probably make the Outbreak happen 2 show instead of Zone. So they're gonna have to do the Zombie Outbreak. Now we need to figure out who wins. There's only gonna be one person that can win immunity this time, and they're not even gonna allow you to pick another. So only one person will be safe and the other 5 will be up for elimination. Now let's figure out who that will be. Golf Ball and Tennis Ball would quickly try to find an antidote, while the rest of them would probably just try to survive, I guess. They'd probably just try to bolt to some random place that they think would be secure. I do feel like the first one out would probably be Pillow. I don't think Pillow would have the smarts to survive. So, how good are they else? Is everybody else doing? I don't think Woody would fare too well unless Woody's partnering up with someone. So I do feel like even if Woody was partnering up with someone, there'd probably be a little slip up and Woody would be the second one out. Only 4 people remaining, and only one of them will win the immunity. I see probably Tennis Ball getting out due to a sacrifice to protect Golf Ball and the antidote. I also feel like Coiny would get out in some way, meaning that the final 2 for the challenge is Price Tag and Golf Ball. After a little bit of thinking, I feel like Golf Ball will win the challenge, just because he would probably have access to the antidote more than Price Tag. Even though Price Tag could, in theory, steal it, I still do feel like Golf Ball would have the edge, meaning Golf Ball is safe and the rest are up for elimination. Alright, I already know who's going to be eliminated. Let's just run it down. Safe is Pillow, Price Tag, and Tennis Ball. The bottom 2 is Woody and Coiny. Given that Coiny was in the bottom 2 last time, yeah, Coiny's eliminated and Woody is the last one safe. This is going to be the second last challenge of Teapot, at least in this What If. The challenge is going to be identical to Teapot 13, except without the teams. The last person, or the first 4 people to wake up from his sleep will be up for elimination. The one who does it last will be safe. So, let's run down the episode. So we obviously know that Woody would be too afraid to do too much. It's just a sad thing about Woody, and I feel like Tennis Ball and Golf Ball would obviously work together like they have been so far. But here's where I feel like Pillow would probably do something crazy. Probably not too extreme, but I feel like Pillow would probably get, I don't know, Golf Ball out. We'll just say that Pillow gets Golf Ball creature into the room, so Golf Ball is automatically disqualified. This will lead to a 3-way war with everybody except Woody trying to fight to get the other people's monsters into 2's room. I feel like this will lead to getting Pillow and Price Tag out of the challenge, leaving the final 2 in the challenge, Woody and Tennis Ball. Honestly, I feel like Tennis Ball would be clumsy enough to give immunity to Woody. Woody basically did the Mario videos, winning while doing absolutely nothing. But I do feel like that would happen in Teapot. That seems like a very BFDI thing to happen. So Woody is safe and the rest are up for elimination. This elimination is probably going to be very, very heated. Safe is Golf Ball and Price Tag. The bottom 2 is Tennis Ball and Pillow. Both have a reason to leave. They're both not doing too much, but they're being entertaining enough for people to want them to stay. Honestly, I'll say the last one safe is Tennis Ball, just barely. I feel like Pillow would be on owed time at some point during this late part of the What If, so I feel like now's the time for Pillow to go. Now we're at a kinda weird spot. Realistically, the finale should happen next episode, so here's how it's gonna go. Only 3 of them will win immunity, and the one who can't win immunity, they'll just be auto-eliminated, and then the viewers will vote on the 3 people who won immunity, and they will vote on who they think should win Teapot. That's how I'll do it, so we have an even number of episodes, with this What If ending at Teapot 12. So, let's run down the final challenge. Let's just say it's like every other season, it's a mix of the challenges along the way. Let's see who's good and let's see who's bad. Golf Ball and Tennis Ball would probably have a breeze up until certain challenges. Woody and Price Tag would probably work together, and they'd do pretty good as well. But there'd be certain challenges with getting certain people behind. I feel like they'll all be pretty equal until the last one, in which it's, an all-out war to try to not wake up two. And I do feel like the one that would be auto-eliminated would probably be Tennis Ball. Sorry, Tennis Ball. And here we are, the finale. So, who will win Teapot if there was only 14 contestants? I feel like this would be a really close vote war, but I feel like inevitably in third place is Price Tag. They'd have to split votes with Woody, and Golf Ball doesn't really have to split votes with anyone. So, I feel like second place would be Woody, and Golf Ball would win Teapot if there was only 14 contestants. I hope you liked this what if. If you did, make sure to like and comment your own what if ideas, or you can even join the Discord. The link is in the description. Anyways, see ya.